Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now today I will be completely focusing on the flower patch. I need to completely weed the border area because there's lots of annuals that need planting up, as well as a few new additions. There's also some edible vegetables that are going to go in the flower patch, and I'll be creating a little herbal area as well. So today I will be completely focusing on the flower patch. Now I only started this area last summer when I decided not to have chickens, but I won't go into that. And what I did was created a border around the edge, and I put some perennial flowers in there. And last autumn I also sowed some wildflower seed mix into the centre to create a low flowering lawn, and that's grown beautifully. I don't know if there's any weeds in there or not. I haven't touched it, I just let it grow. But what has grown in there is some forget-me-not and some German chamomile. And even though it looks really beautiful, I think I'm going to have to get rid of them because they're just going to spread like crazy when they go to seed. But I'm not going to touch the flower meadow today. I'm going to focus on the border around it because it needs weeding very badly. And like I said, there's a few perennials there which are looking beautiful, and then the weeds just ruin it. And I need to plant out lots of annuals and some edible herbs and things out there. So the weeds need to go so I can get all the other plants in. But yeah, there's some beautiful perennials there. There's two verbenas which aren't flowering yet, but hopefully they will a little bit later on. There's some euphorbia, a beautiful geum called Flames of Passion. There's a chrysanthemum coming up and some Roman chamomile which I planted last year. There's an oxeye daisy. There's a beautiful cirsium which looks like a pink thistle. It's absolutely beautiful and the bees just love it. There's also some rhubarb, an apple tree and a globe artichoke in the corner. And there's an allium which is just about to pop as well. So yeah, there's lots of perennials, but what I need to do is get rid of the weeds so I can plant out some annuals which I've grown from seed. So there's some cosmos, there's some scabious, two different varieties of scabious. There's some calendula, some love in a mist, a sunflower's going to go there. And these two foxgloves which I bought from the Kent Garden Show, which we sold out last weekend. I did have two foxgloves there, but because they're biennial they've gone. And I really like foxgloves, so what I'm going to do with these is let these self-seed because I really love foxgloves. But as well as the flowers, there's also some edible vegetables to go in. There's some peas which are going to climb up the obelisk. There's some Swiss chard, and there's also some herbs to go in because I'm going to create a little herb area, because I thought I cook in my shed quite a lot, and I thought I really need some herbs up here so I can add them to the dishes. So I've got a few herbs. There's some normal chives, there's some fennel, there's some mint which I'm going to grow in an old bucket because mint spreads really bad. So it's best to put it in a container. And I've also got some yarrow, but I will go into all of them a little bit later on when I plant them out. I'll describe them a bit more, but I think the first thing to do is to get weeding, and I think it's going to take me quite a long time, so I won't bore you with it, but I'm going to really crack on with it, I think. Oh, it's going to take ages. So it's day 2 of working on the flower patch. So the other day I weeded and completely dug the flower border. So that's all ready for the annuals and the flowers and the edible plants to go in. So I'll just quickly go through what I'm planting up today. Of course, there's plenty more at home in the greenhouse waiting to go out. There's some zinnias and some poppies at home. And there's a few unusual flowers which I'm attempting to grow this year as well, waiting at home. And I think I'm going to see what catches my eye at some of the garden shows we set up, because there's always loads of beautiful flower stalls there. So I'm going to see what catches my eye perennial wise, because I sort of want this area to be as less maintenance as possible. And the perennials that are there so far are doing beautifully. They look absolutely amazing. So yeah, I think perennials might be the way to go, but I'm not cutting annuals out completely because they're still so beautiful. For instance, these cosmos, which are already coming out. So this is from Sarah Raven. It's just a pale mix of cosmos, but they're absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the cosmos will be going in there. There's some scabious. There's 2 different varieties of scabious. There's a tall variety which I grew last year from Sarah Raven, and there's also this unusual scabious called Sternkugel, and it's from the Chiltern seed catalogue. And I'll try and find a picture of it because it's hard to explain, but it's so beautiful. So yeah, I'll try and find a picture and have it magically appear on the screen, because it is a beautiful, beautiful scabious. There's also some Love in a Mist, which is going to go there. Oh, that's another scabious. So yeah, there's Cosmos scabious, Love in a Mist. There's also some Calendula, which I grow every year. I think this variety is called Indian Prince. I usually grow it round by the pond. I'm still going to grow it round by the pond. But I'm going to put a few in the flower patch as well, just because I have quite a lot of tall growing flowers, because I'm slightly obsessed with tall spindly flowers. So it needs some sort of low growing flowers around the border as well. So the calendula is going to go in there. I mean, there's plenty there, and obviously you can eat the petals from the calendula in salads and things. So they look pretty and they taste nice as well, which is always good. What else is there going in there? That's about it for the annual flowers. I mean, of course, there's these foxgloves going in, but I'll talk more about them when I put them in. There's also some edible plants going in there. So there's some peas, which are going to be growing up an obelisk. Now, this variety is called Alderman. It's from Sarah Raven, and I chose this variety because they can grow up to 6 foot. So I wanted a nice tall variety just to take up the space really. So I have an obelisk there which my dad made, so they're going to grow up there, and obviously they're flower as well, so I think that will look quite nice. There's also some Swiss chard, which is just going to be dotted around. I absolutely love Swiss chard. I'm not growing it on the allotment until later on in the year, around August, September time. So I thought if I have a few in the flower patch, then I could eat those leaves. I mean, they could sort of tide me over until later on in the year. So there's going to be peas and Swiss chard. Obviously there's a globe artichoke in the corner, and there's some rhubarb there. And the apple tree, of course. But that's about it for the edible plants. There's going to be an area for herbs as well, but I'll go into the herbs when I plant that little area up. And I basically just wanted to go through the flowers, and I'm just going to be dotting them around the border, just spacing them out nicely, obviously leaving room for the flowers which I still have growing in the greenhouse at home. And I've drawn up a sort of plan, so I'm going to try and stick to that. Although there's so many temptations, there's so many beautiful flowers out there, it's hard to try and squeeze them all in. I just need a bigger allotment, I think. So what I'm going to do now is just plant up these annuals, and then we can get on with the foxgloves and the little herb patch. So I decided to buy 2 new foxgloves. Now, I don't know if you remember previously, but I did actually have a foxglove, a pink one, and it was over there. But foxgloves are biennial, and I stupidly didn't collect any seed, and for some strange reason it didn't self-seed on my plot. There is, however, a beautiful pink foxglove just on the edge of my neighbour's plot. So yeah, I bought 2 new foxgloves, a white one and a pink one. I don't know the varieties, unfortunately, because I bought them from the Kent Garden Show and they were quite cheap, but I thought I couldn't really go wrong with the white one and the pink one. So the pink one's going to go here next to the white oxeye daisies, and the white one is going to go over there next to the pink cercium. I really, really love foxgloves. I think when you think of like an English country garden, you think of foxgloves, and I'm hoping that they will self-seed, or that I remember to collect seed, and that in the future they create a sort of nice border around the whole edge. So I want a nice collection of foxgloves. I think it will just make this flower patch a little bit more secluded, which will be nice, especially in the summer. And I can sit on the lawn with a cup of tea and all the flowers will just be surrounding me. It would be nice. So foxgloves can be planted in full sun or partial shade. They have a spread of about 50 centimetres and they can grow up to 2.5 metres, which is very tall. And there's an interesting fact that I recently learned about foxgloves. So the Latin name is digitalis, and the Latin for fingers is digitus, hence the name foxgloves. So there's your fact of the day. I've recently just been looking through a book which I got for my birthday a year ago, and it's an RHS Latin plant name book. It's really, really interesting, and I do recommend it. But yeah, I'm only just starting to look through it now. But it is really interesting. So I'm going to plant these foxgloves out, and then I think I'm going to get on with the herb patch, and then I think I'm going to call it a night. So the white one's going to go over here. Now on with the small herb patch. Now when I said it was small, I really did mean it was small. It's this little tiny area here. So I just planted some fennel just over there behind the rhubarb. Now the idea for that area is to have a compost bin there, and it's going to be shaped like a beehive because I thought it would make this area look very cottage garden-y. So hopefully it will really set the scene. Haven't made it yet. I probably won't be making it anytime soon. So I'm sort of trying to plant around it, but I thought the two rhubarb in front would look nice. Some nice tall growing fennel and some poppies either side would really set the scene. So yeah, this little bit here is going to be the main herb patch. There is going to be a miniature lavender hedge coming into the flower patch. There's actually two at either side of the front of the archway, so I'm going to propagate from them. So there's going to be 3 bushes there and 3 bushes here, just because I thought it would be a nice little entrance into the flower patch. And also I love lavender anyway, and you can use lavender for lots. So that's the entrance. So basically the lavender is going to come right up to here. There's going to be some mint, because I think that's probably the most important herb. And the thing with mint is that it spreads, so it's best to put it into a container. So I'm just going to use this old galvanized bucket. This is just your standard mint. At the stall where I got all these herbs from at the Kent Garden Show was called Herbal Haven, and I was completely spoilt for choice with the mint. There was pineapple mint, banana mint, lavender mint, spearmint, every type of mint under the sun. So I thought I'd just get the standard mint. And then this little bucket will be perfect for me anyway. So there's going to be mint, and I got some chives. Now these are just your normal chives. I'm actually growing garlic chives at home, but they're very, very small. Now, once this clump is established and nicely a nice size, you can divide them just by simply cutting through the root system, and then you obviously can divide it into 2 clumps. So I might be doing that next year. So hopefully this one chive plant will multiply into many in the future. Obviously you can eat the foliage. You can also eat the flowers of chives as like a garnish in salads, and the bees love them, so it's a win-win situation. I'm also going to put some basil here. My dad's grown some from seed, so I'm going to ask very nicely if I can have one of his basils. And last but not least is some yarrow. Now yarrow is completely new to me. I read about it in the King's Seed catalogue, and the flowers just look beautiful anyway. So you can use yarrow for yellow dye. It's a natural yellow dye. But the thing which drew me to it, and it was on the Herbal Haven stall, and it said that yarrow complements elderflower when made into tea. And I absolutely love elderflower. so I thought I'd give it a go. And like I said, it flowers beautifully anyway. So yeah, yarrow, chives, mint, fennel and basil are going here. And then there's going to be the little lavender hedge. So that's the herb area. There's obviously some chamomile and some feverfew dotted around in the main patch. But yeah, when I said it was small, it's very much a very, very small herb patch. So let's get these in. Yeah, that can go. That's it. I've done what I wanted to do on the new flower patch. Border's been dug, been weeded. The annuals that were ready to be planted out have been planted out. Foxgloves out. The edible plants are out. The little tiny herb patch has been planted. And it's looking better. It's just this area in the middle, which is obviously, I don't know, I wanted a wildflower meadow in the middle, but I think I'm just impatient. I want it straight away. Obviously these German chamomile aren't supposed to be there, so I think I'm going to pull them out and then possibly cut it back when it needs to be cut back and see what it brings next year. But no, I'm happy with the flower patch. I think it's going to look great in a couple of years' time. No, I think it's bringing some colour already, which is perfect. But obviously, like with most things, it takes a year or so for things to actually settle in, for borders to bulk up. So yeah, I'm happy with it. So the last thing I'm going to do before I head home is to take off all the little fruit that's forming on the apple tree. Now, even though it pains me to do it, in the long run it's going to be best for the tree, because I planted this in autumn. It's a James Grieve variety, so I planted it last autumn, so it's not even a year old yet. What I want to do is make all the energy and all the focus go into creating a strong root system and a strong tree, rather than all the energy going into producing fruit. So sadly, all these tiny baby apples are going to be murdered. Now I'm going to take them off, and in the long run, hopefully in the future, I will be rewarded with lots of delicious apples. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, I'm going to be mean for a few minutes, but I think it's the best thing to do. So while I murder these baby apples, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.